Welcome to today's Explainer. I want you to imagine stepping into a high-stakes environment where the threats are constant, invisible, and potentially lethal. Because, let's face it, a professional kitchen isn't just about culinary art or serving a beautiful plate of food. It's literally a frontline defense against unseen enemies. Today, we're undertaking a critical briefing, Module 2 of our food safety series. We're going to treat this as your defensive playbook. By the end of this session, you're going to understand exactly what it takes to protect the consumer and maintain the absolute highest standards required in the food industry.
We've got a precise, tactical roadmap today. First, the 4 food hazards. Second, navigating allergens and laws. Third, contamination and invisible microbes. Fourth, high versus low-risk foods. And finally, your food safety playbook.
Right. Let's kick things off with Part 1, the 4 food hazards.
We have to begin by defining exactly what we are up against. A food safety hazard is formally defined as any contamination that could cause harm, illness, or injury to the consumer. And I want to be perfectly clear here. A hazard is not a simple culinary mistake, like oversalting a broth or burning a piece of toast. No, it is a direct, tangible threat to consumer safety. If contamination isn't prevented, the consequences for the consumer, your company, and you as an individual food handler can be incredibly serious. We aren't fighting bad taste here, we're fighting illness.
There are 4 main categories of contamination hazards that your kitchen staff must constantly, vigilantly defend against. We call them the Big 4. They are allergenic, chemical, microbiological, and physical hazards. Every single safety protocol you follow targets one or more of these 4 specific categories.
Moving straight into Part 2, navigating allergens and laws.
Now, there is a stark, vital contrast we absolutely must draw between an allergy and an intolerance. A food allergy is a reaction where a person's immune system mistakenly recognizes a completely harmless food as a lethal threat. This can lead to an immediate and potentially fatal reaction, like anaphylactic shock. A food intolerance, on the other hand, well, that's a hypersensitivity. It doesn't actually involve the immune system. While an intolerance can provoke very unpleasant symptoms, things like nausea, diarrhea, and skin rashes that last for days, it is the food allergy that represents a critical, potentially fatal threat that we must guard against.
Okay, let's dive into this. As a food handler, you must memorize the 14 common allergens. They range from produce like celery to cereals containing gluten and proteins like crustaceans, eggs, fish, and mollusks. We've also got lupin, milk, mustard, tree nuts, peanuts, sesame seeds, soybeans, and finally, sulfur dioxides and sulfites. This list has to be your daily radar. These items must be clearly identified at all times.
And this isn't just best practice, mind you. It is the law. Under strict UK legislation introduced in 2014, it is legally binding for food businesses to provide food allergy information. Labels must aggressively emphasize the presence of allergenic ingredients, using bold font, different colors, or capital letters. Furthermore, catering staff are legally required to be able to state the allergens of any given food the moment a customer asks. This mandates a flawless, crystal-clear communication system between the kitchen and the serving staff. There's literally no room for guesswork here.
All right, on to Part 3, contamination and invisible microbes.
The most insidious method of attack is cross-contamination. This occurs when bacteria is transported from one surface to another, from food to surface or surface to food. How does this happen? Through what we call a vehicle of contamination. Innocent, everyday objects act as these vehicles for microscopic enemies. It could be your own hands, a soiled tea towel, or a chopping board. A single bacterium can multiply into millions in just a few hours if given a free ride. Managing this cross-contamination is absolutely crucial for preventing food poisoning.
To help your staff remember the diverse sources of physical hazards, drill in this simple mnemonic, the 6 Ps. Physical contamination comes from people, packaging, pests, premises, product, and plant. That covers the whole shebang. Everything from a piece of glass from a broken bulb, a stray hair, a loose screw from a machine, or even a stone mixed in with fresh produce.
We can easily pinpoint the common sources of the remaining hazards. Chemical hazards often stem from entirely preventable mistakes, like storing unlabeled cleaning fluids near prep areas, using fly spray right beside uncovered food, or leaving food in open metal cans where the metal can actually leach into the contents. Microbiological hazards, the germs that cause illness, lurk in food sources like raw meat, unwashed veg, and uncooked rice, as well as non-food sources like soil, dirty water, and improper waste disposal.
Next up, Part 4, high versus low-risk foods.
We must sharply contrast our ingredients based on how hospitable they are to bacteria. Simply put, bacteria need food and moisture to multiply. Therefore, low-risk foods are those with high concentrations of sugar, salt, or acids, like vinegar. Think of dried pasta, crisps, or jam. These are safely stored in ambient conditions. On the exact opposite end, we have high-risk foods. These are the prime targets: moisture and protein-rich foods like cooked meats, milk, cream, soft cheese, and shellfish. These provide the exact environment bacteria crave to multiply rapidly, and therefore they demand incredibly strict temperature control.
And finally, Part 5, your food safety playbook.
Now, let's deploy our crucial good practice controls, and this brilliantly illustrates how simple actions save lives. Take the threat of raw meat. You must never wash meat before cooking it. It doesn't get rid of germs, it literally only splashes those harmful germs onto your nearby surfaces and utensils. Furthermore, raw meat must always be stored in sealed containers at the absolute bottom of your fridge so juices cannot drip onto anything else. To fight cross-contamination, we deploy color-coded chopping boards and completely separate utensils for raw and ready-to-eat foods. And to combat poor hygiene, well, the absolute baseline is regularly washing hands with soap and hot water and wearing appropriate, clean clothing.
Another core defensive tactic is stock rotation, specifically the FIFO method: first in, first out. It's a simple three-step process. Step 1. Identify older food items. Step 2. Place newest deliveries at the back of the shelf. Step 3. Use those older items first. Poor stock rotation just results in food spoilage and bacterial contamination. And I must sternly remind you that using food past its use-by date is strictly illegal. Altering those use-by dates isn't just a shortcut, it is deeply unsafe and can directly lead to prosecution under food safety law.
Ultimately, all these protocols rely entirely on you. Vigilance is key. As a food handler, you carry the ultimate responsibility to be a guardian of public health. You must follow workplace rules, remain constantly alert, never ignore bad practice when you see it, and always report any hazards or deviations from safety protocols to your manager straight away. So, the crucial point is this. We have mapped out the allergenic, chemical, microbiological, and physical threats. We've established the defensive controls, from the fridge hierarchy to strict stock rotation. With invisible enemies constantly at the gates, probing for any vulnerability in your preparation or storage, I want to leave you with this provocation. Are you entirely confident your kitchen is truly hazard-free today? Use this playbook, stay vigilant, and ensure your defense never, ever drops.